The Invincible War from Invincible. Imagine waking up and realizing you live in a superhero world. Sounds awesome, right? Now imagine that every hero is mid at best. The planet gets attacked weekly, and your best hope is a teenage guy named Mark who's still figuring out his powers. That's Invincible for you. And then came the Invincible War. It all starts with Angstrom Levy, a multiverse hopping villain who decided peace was boring. So he opens up portals and brings in dozens of evil versions of Mark Grayson, the main hero, from other dimensions. These aren't just slightly meaner versions, they're full on genocidal dictator level marks who have zero chill. One mark rules an empire, another fights demons. One of them is just violence in human form. These alternate marks land across Earth and start wrecking everything in sight. Cities are flattened like soda cans, civilian death tolls shoot through the roof. The world's already flimsy superhero lineup gets folded immediately, like first round in a fighting game bad. It gets so desperate that the government starts sending kids into battle. You know it's bad when the grown-ups are like, good luck, little Timmy. Mark and his girlfriend Eve do what they can, but it's like trying to stop a hurricane with a hairdryer. The fight scenes go hard, fast, bloody, and brutal, but the chaos is short-lived. The war ends almost as suddenly as it began, without much closure. Still, the sheer destruction, the body count, and how helpless everyone felt makes it one of the nastiest wars in fictional history. Mark survives, barely. Earth, though, scarred forever. The Clone Wars from Star Wars. Now, shift galaxies. The Clone Wars are what you get when one evil mastermind plays 4D chess with an entire galaxy and wins. Set between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, this war is secretly orchestrated by one man, Palpatine, who's playing both sides like a DJ with two turntables. On one end, he leads the Galactic Republic, and on the other, he controls the Separatists through Count Dooku. It's all smoke and mirrors, and nobody sees the setup coming. The war is huge. Clones versus battle droids, Jedi generals leading battalions, planets changing hands daily. But under the explosions and lightsaber duels, it's a slow burn tragedy. Jedi like Obi-Wan and Anakin fight alongside clone troopers, building trust, friendship, even brotherhood. But the twist? Palpatine has baked in a betrayal command, Order 66, that turns the clones against the Jedi overnight. Imagine your best friend turning on you without warning. That's how most Jedi go out, mid-sentence, mid-battle, mid-trust. The Clone Wars don't just kill people, they break legacies. Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, falls and becomes Darth Vader. The Republic becomes the Empire. Billions die, and the good guys? Either dead or in hiding. It's space tragedy at its best, Shakespeare with blasters. The war introduced legends, Grievous with his robot cough, Maul with his horns and trauma, Ahsoka finding her own path, and ended with the galaxy on its knees. The Jedi are gone, hope is gone, and all that's left is a dark empire ruled by the very man who caused it all. The Final War, Ultra Kill. So, the Final War is exactly what it sounds like, humanity's last fight. No more warnings, no more chances, just full send into extinction. It happens in the world of Ultra Kill, the fast-paced FPS game where everything is violent, loud, and metal, literally and musically. This war wasn't about land or politics. Every country just decided to go full apocalyptic mode. Maybe someone coughed wrong and the nukes came out. We don't even know. All we do know is the world ended in pure mechanical chaos. Giant killer robots, walking tanks, and flying death machines filled the skies. Among them was V1, a blood-powered murder bot designed to keep going as long as it had something to bleed. But once the humans wiped themselves out, there was no blood left. So V1 did what any bloodthirsty machine would do. It went to hell. Literal hell. And because billions of people died in such a short time, even hell couldn't handle the flood of souls. Imagine the DMV, but cosmic and on fire, forever. Things got so messed up, even God stopped answering the phone. Heaven went silent. The Archangel Gabriel tried to stop V1, but he got absolutely bodied multiple times. Poor guy lost his purpose, his boss, and then his fights. Now Earth is empty, just dust and echoes, and V1 is deep in hell, turning demons into juice just to keep moving. It's not just a war story, it's post-war, the end of everything. A robot with no soul, running on blood, fighting in a world where souls don't even fit anymore. War in Heaven, Warhammer 40k. Before humans even existed, before Earth had cities or memes, there was the war in heaven. And no, not religious heaven. We're talking about the entire galaxy fighting gods, star monsters, and psychic frogs. It started with two ancient races, the Old Ones and the Necron tier. The Old Ones were super wise and powerful. They basically invented life like it was an art project. The Necron tier were the opposite, short-lived, bitter, and mad about dying too soon. Tired of the suffering, the Necron tier made a deal with the Catan, literal star gods made of cosmic energy. In exchange for immortality, they gave up their souls and became living metal skeletons, the Necrons. Big mistake. The Catan ate their souls like snacks, turned them into soldiers, and used them to wage war on the old ones. The galaxy lit up with cosmic battles. Planets burned, timelines broke, and reality bent under the pressure. The old ones tried to fight back by creating new species, early Eldar, space elves, the Croc, proto-orcs, and more. But too much emotion and psychic power started leaking into the warp, this weird space dimension full of chaos energy. Eventually, it was too much. All that fear, rage, lust, and rot formed the Chaos Gods. Khorne, violence, Slanesh, excess, Tzeentch, trickery, and Nurgle, decay. So yeah, the war in heaven literally gave birth to demons. Then came the plot twist. The Necrons realized the Catan had used them, so they rebelled, shattered the Star Gods into pieces, and buried themselves in tombs to sleep for millions of years. That's why Warhammer 40k is the way it is. Everything terrible started here. Chaos, immortal robot zombies, galaxy-wide trust issues. The Horus Heresy, Warhammer 40k. Fast forward millions of years. Humanity's now ruling the galaxy through the Imperium, led by the Emperor, an immortal psychic superdad with 20 genetically engineered demigod sons called Primarchs. One of them is Horus. He's the favorite, the golden child, the top general. He also ends up becoming the galaxy's worst backstabber. This is the Horus Heresy, the space civil war that ripped the galaxy apart. Horus gets corrupted by chaos. Again, thanks to the warp. Nothing good ever comes out of it. He turns half the Space Marines against the Emperor, and the war explodes across the stars. Brother fights brother. Entire planets burn. Space battles, demon rituals, betrayals. It's 7 years of pure cosmic drama. It all ends at the Siege of Terra. Horus leads a final assault on Earth, breaks into the palace, and faces off against his dad, the Emperor. The two fight to the death. The Emperor wins, but just barely. Horus dies. The Emperor is critically wounded and gets placed on the Golden Throne, where he's stuck forever, half dead and barely alive. The Imperium survives, but it's never the same. No peace, just endless war. The Emperor becomes a silent god. His sons scatter. Chaos spreads. The galaxy turns into the grimdark nightmare fans love today. All because one son looked at his dad and said, "Nah, I'm not with this anymore." The 7-hour war, Half-Life. If you've ever lost a game in 7 minutes, imagine Earth losing the entire planet in 7 hours. That's exactly what happened in the Half-Life universe during what's now called the 7-Hour War. The villains here? A nightmarish empire called the Combine. They aren't just aliens, they're an interdimensional, part machine, part organic empire that conquers whole universes like it's a weekend hobby. It all starts when Black Mesa, a secret science lab, opens a portal to a place called Gen. This rips a hole in space and basically sends Earth location into the Galactic group chat. The Combine see it and pull up immediately. The war itself isn't even a fight, it's a curb stomp. The Combine unleash advanced weapons, teleporting armies, and city-flattening machines. In 7 hours, every major government collapses. Military resistance gets erased. Humanity surrenders. After that, things get dystopian real fast. Earth becomes one giant police state. People are watched 24/7. Reproduction is banned. Cities are filled with sad gray walls and worse vibes. The Combine install human-machine hybrids as enforcers. They're called civil protection, but they don't protect anything except Combine interests. Years later, scientists and silent protagonist Gordon Freeman enters, crowbar in hand, and helps spark a rebellion in City 17. But the Combine are still in charge. The truth is, the war never really ended, because it never really began. Humanity lost before it even stood up. The Time War, Doctor Who. Now let's talk about the Time War from Doctor Who, also known as the war that broke the universe, literally. This wasn't just some interstellar shootout. This was a reality-breaking, timeline-bending, space is melting and no one knows when they are kind of war. It was fought between the Time Lords, ancient beings from Gallifrey who control time, and the Daleks, homicidal pepperpots who want to exterminate everything not Dalek. But what made this war so terrifying was the technology. Both sides used weapons that could erase your entire bloodline, or make it so you never existed to begin with. Some battles were fought in the past and erased in the future. Some happened in every timeline at once. Others never even finished before they were deleted from history. The Daleks didn't just evolve, they got creative. They built the Cult of Skaro, a squad of Daleks with free will and imagination. That's like giving a chainsaw sentience. Even the Eternals, who are literal gods outside of time, saw the mess and dipped. That's how bad it got. Actual gods were like, "Nah, I'm out." In the middle of it all was the Doctor, who realized that both sides had become monsters, so he used the moment, a sentient time weapon, to end the war in one single fiery act, wiping out Gallifrey and the Daleks in one shot. Except they didn't actually die. Gallifrey was hidden in a pocket dimension. The Daleks survived, because of course they did, and the Doctor, he's left carrying the guilt. He saved the universe, but became a myth, a villain, and a broken man. The Time War didn't end. It paused, like a nightmare waiting to happen again. The Galactic Wars, Helldivers. Okay, now imagine if war was just a normal job. That's what you get in Helldivers. In this game, you play as a soldier from Super-Earth, a government that claims to be spreading democracy across the stars. But their version of democracy is basically drop soldiers on a hostile planet, blow everything up, call it peace. The enemies? The bugs. Massive, fast-spawning space insects that swarm like it's Starship Troopers on steroids. The automatons, cold steel robot warriors who are former humans that traded flesh for firepower. The Illuminate, psychic aliens that attack your brain before you even realize you're under fire. Every fight is chaos, missions are deadly, friendly fire is a bigger threat than the enemy. Seriously, you're more likely to get blown up by your teammate's rocket than by an alien. And that's kind of the point. The Galactic Wars never stop. They're endless. The government sells it as protecting freedom, but the truth is darker. It's all propaganda, control, and survival. Helldivers are sent in like cannon fodder with a flag on their back. There's no glory, just missions, explosions, and reloads. It's war as a lifestyle, not a choice. Judgment Day, Terminator. Judgment Day is the apocalyptic moment Skynet becomes self-aware and nukes humanity. Designed as an AI military defense system, Skynet decides its creators are the threat and triggers global thermonuclear war. Billions die instantly. The survivors face extermination by machines, Terminators built for one purpose: kill humans. John Connor rises as leader of the resistance, prompting Skynet to wage war across time, sending Terminators to murder him before he can fight back. It's a war of survival against fate, with humanity stuck in an endless time loop. Every attempt to stop the war only delays the inevitable: machine domination. The Covenant War, Halo. The Covenant War begins when a theocratic alien alliance declares humanity heretical for accessing Forerunner tech. Starting in 2525, the Covenant wages a genocidal campaign, glassing entire human colonies. Billions die. Project Spartan 2 creates super soldiers like Master Chief to hold the line. As the war rages, ancient threats like the Flood emerge, and the Covenant fractures upon learning their holy Halo rings are actually galaxy-destroying weapons. The war ends in 2552 after Earth's defense, internal Covenant collapse, and the containment of the Flood. Humanity barely survives, scarred, outmatched, and forever changed. It's faith versus truth, survival versus extinction. The Reaper War, Mass Effect. The Reaper War is a galaxy-wide extinction event triggered by ancient machine gods called Reapers who harvest ancient civilizations every 50,000 years. When they invade, Earth falls within hours. Indoctrination warps minds, husks consume bodies, and resistance crumbles. Commander Shepard unites species, fights across war-torn worlds, and races to finish the Crucible, a mysterious weapon from past cycles. In the war's climax, Shepard activates the Crucible at the Citadel, choosing one of three controversial fates: destroy the Reapers, control them, or merge organics and synthetics. Billions perish, but the cycle ends. Maybe. The galaxy survives. Barely.